Hi all. So previously we were looking at these commands, right? So we were looking at these commands and we were executing 32-bit architecture and 64-bit architecture. So we were executing NASM commands and NASM plus GCC commands. So today we'll look into how we can automate stuff, how we could write all these commands into a single makefile, and using just this makefile, using just the make command, we could execute the entire commands. Okay. So firstly, what were the commands that we saw? Firstly, we go to main first, right? So we'll go by we had this sum three. Okay. So this is going to be purely make file related. So I won't be repeating all this stuff regarding this sum 3 and all stuff. You can watch the previous video regarding this. I had made a 2 hour long video regarding all this. I had made a in-depth video about CDECL calling conventions and AMD64 related calling conventions. So this is only purely related to make file related. Okay. So back to this some three, yes. Okay. So for this we'll require GCC and NASM, right? So NASM for sum 3 as in I think sum 3 is defined in 32-bit. Yes. So 32-bit command should be there. So the commands which we saw previously was, I guess this was these were the commands. Yeah. So we need to have ELF32 and we need to specify to GCC M32, right? Because it's 32-bit architecture. So that's exactly what we are doing here. In Makefile, we are splitting the commands. Okay. We are splitting the commands into variables. Here NASM is a variable, GCC is a variable, LD is a variable. So NASM will contain this value, NASM, GCC is this, LD is this linker. So and then we have the files add 64.asm and add 32.asm, which is for 64-bit and 32-bit architectures. And we have the main.c, which is C file. Okay. So basically, this is the variable and this is its value. Okay. And similarly, we are creating variable for object files add dot out, add program 64. Okay. This is the executable file that will be creating out. Okay. The binary files. So I made this in advance, okay, so that it will be much more faster for me to explain. So how do I start? Okay, let me start by on. Uh, so we have 32-bit, right? So why not execute 32-bit? So mm, okay. So let me have this build normal build. Okay. Run it. I'll just explain you. Let me just rearrange this and tell you. Then I have now build. Okay. 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 Fine. Okay. So let me remove this example. And then this. No. Maybe yeah. Now, see, whenever I run the command make and run the command make by default. See, whenever I have in Makefile, when I have a colon, yeah, so all followed by a colon, that's a label. Fine. So whenever I run the command make, so the label all gets executed. Now the label all has a prerequisite. What are prerequisites are being written to the right of colon. So before all, I need to execute run 32. Okay. So if you look at run 32, this is the label run 32. Now run 32 internally has a requirement of build 32. So first I have to run build 32 label. And build 32 internally has a requirement of ASM file 32 and C file. Okay, so what is ASM file here? We have add 32.asm, right? And we have main.c. So for the build command, build as in these commands. These commands to run, we require the ASM file, right? This ASM file, and we require this main.c, the C file. Only then we can run this command, right? Then only it makes sense because we are converting this main.c and this add.asm into object files and then finally executables, right? So that's what here requirement is that ASM file we require and the C file we require. That's the prerequisite. Okay. So if that is not there, then it won't execute. It's the prerequisite. So if this is not there, then for example, see if build 32 is already been done or you have a particular file, okay. So whatever we write here, okay, let me just show you. Okay. I'll give you an example. I'll give you a better example. First, let me run this and I'll come back to this because this prerequisite could also be a file. Okay. In that case, we'll check a file if this, for example, if build 32 is already a file. Okay. So let me create a file here. New file build 32. Okay. So build 32 is already a file, let's say. And if I run now make uh, yeah, has to run this on this I'll take it off. Huh. Okay. So why did I take that off? Because see build 32 is the prerequisite, right? So after the prerequisite, it will go. So prerequisite is this. Okay. So if we mention this as the prerequisite, uh, it will by default it will treat build 32 as a file. So there is another method. So build 32 is now a file, so it will not run this command. So that's why what happened is it's going to directly go into add.program 32, and that add.program 32 is not been executed. Why it's not executed? Because add 32.program is from exe32, right? exe32 is add program 32, right? So that's not being created. That will be created by this prerequisite command, right? But here that prerequisite command is not run because it treats this one initially by default as a file. So we already have a build 32 file. So it's not running this command. So that's what happened. So here I'll teach you a concept called PHONY. Okay. Now PHONY will tell that a particular prerequisite is uh, uh, not a file. Uh, it's a command. Okay, it's not a file. Okay, so I'm right now phony build 32. Now it should recognize build 32 as not a file. So even if I have a file, this command will run because I'm telling through phony that it's not a file, it's a command that make has to. So make will see that phony and it will understand that it's not the file that it has to look for the command build 32 prerequisite command. This one it has to look for. So by default, whenever we write prerequisite, right, it'll treat it as a file. So in this case, if I run now make, now it executed this command. Okay, now got executed because through phony I'm telling that this build 32 you have to not treat it as a file, so it's going to run that. So if I remove phony now, if I remove phony and if I run this, so I already have a add program 32. So let me just clean it. Okay, so I have a clean. Okay, clean is going to remove the executable file. Okay, rmrf rmf force remove executable 32. Okay, I hope you might know this command. It's recursive. It is a remove command. Okay. It's a remove command to remove the executable thread to and all these files will be removed. Okay. So if I run this now, make. So make by default will run the all label. Okay. So when we run this, it'll tell this file is not there because we removed that file, right? And why it happened? Because build 32 is by default, it'll think it as it's a file that we need, and file is already there. Build 32 file is already there, so it's not going to execute this command. So in order to for that to execute, I have to write here dot phony build 32. So I repeated this twice. I guess you guys might have understood this. See, and you can see all these commands being executed. Now there is another thing that mm, see, now here you are seeing all these commands, right? Say you don't want to see this, you just want the result directly. Yeah. So in that case, you could hide this. So how do you hide it? You can hide it using at the rate symbol. Okay. If I do at the rate. Okay. And if I do now again make clean all those files. Okay. And if I run now make. Okay. So see, before I had all these comments, now nothing is being shown. Now see, now again if I run make directly result 10. So using at the rate, I can hide those. So it will not display in my uh, command prompt. Yeah. So that's what is being done over here. If you look at, there's a help. So if you do make help. Okay, so you can see that this echo, see what does echo do? Correct, echo test, will write test background. So this command won't be shown, but directly whatever it has to echo will be shown. Okay, so that's what happened here. So make by default will run the all command. Okay, and if you want to run in particular a command, so like the make the help I want to run. So that target name I have to specify just like what I have done now, make help. And clean also I had this label, right? Clean is for this command. So that's what I had done. Make clean. Okay. So again, so last, all is what make will run by default. For a make, this word happens. And at the rate will hide those commands. Okay. Even if I make this at the rate, right? Even if I don't make right now, it will run because we already have build, right? Not what will run because build 32 is being defined as PHONY. But if I remove this, okay, it will not run. It ran only that. Now if I delete this, if I delete it, remove the PHONY, then run make, okay. Then if I run make, so all these three commands have been shown. But if I write at the rate, so internally it won't show up. Okay, it won't show up in command prompt. So only this add, this one exe32 is what exe32 is add program 32. So that will show up. So this is if I want to hide that also, I'll append at the rate. Okay. So now if I run that, now that will also not show up only the directories I can reach. Okay. So that's how this is how Makefile will work. So this is what I had to show. So you can see here, uh, see entire make is you are creating variables. So see this dollar symbol and bracket. This is how you mention the variable in the command. Okay. So if you look at NASM is what? NASM is this one, this NASM. Okay. NASM 64 flags is what? This one. Then ASM file 64 is what? This one. Okay. And ASM object is what? This one. So now if I run for 64-bit, we had this one, right? What do we have? Some, yeah, okay, let's run some 2, right? Let's run some 2. Add 64 dot sum. Okay, let's run some 2. Some 2 no, okay, yeah, no need some 2. Some 2 is common to both 32-bit also, I guess, right? Yeah, some 2 is common to both. So, but some 8 is not common to both. It's only unique to 64-bit. Okay, so let me run just some 8. As I told, all this I had covered in previous. So you can go through my 2-hour video that I made. I had explained the sum 8 in detail there. So sum 8. So right now, if I run this label, make run 64, it gives the result 45. So if I want to hide it, delete, 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 okay. If I run make run 64, I get 45. So as I told, make and the target which you want to run, make and the target in my case is run 64. And run 64 has a prerequisite of build 64. So before See, run 64 will run this command, but it has a prerequisite of build 64. So that's why build 64 will go and see that here we have firstly these commands are there, but before that we have prerequisites of C file and the ASM 64 file, 64-bit file. Okay, and internally these are the commands. So this, okay, now this NASM will resolve to NASM, and this 64 flags will resolve into 64. So this one will resolve into this, and this one is some 64 is this one. Okay, this. Then finally you have output as, and this one will resolve as, and so this command resolves into this, and this is exactly what we want, right? This is the command that we want to run. So tomorrow, instead of NASM, you want to change it to say NASM. NASM is also there. Okay, NASM is okay. Let me just show, right. See, NASM, NASM. So NASM, FASM, and NASM are all x86 assemblers used for writing programs in assembly language. Okay. So tomorrow, if you want to change from NASM to FASM, you just change this. So instead of NASM, you could just write it as ASM also and change this to NASM or FASM. Okay. So that's the idea. Yeah. And all variables here, you just have to go to the particular variable and change the value. So accordingly, everything get resolved. So this is what make is. So I didn't have to run everything one by one, right? Just one command is running everything. See, make run 64 ran the entire commands, right? And I can also run make clean, which will clean out my binary files. Okay. So this is what make is. So this part you might have understood, right? I hopefully think that all of you might have understood this portion. Okay. And now coming to our main compiler project. So this is exactly what I had done. We have the variable and the value vet. So we have C flags. O0 is no optimization. Okay. And and what else do we have? Yes, this slash here, right? This slash here means we have a continuation. So that means we are taking this src slash main dot c followed by src slash lexer dot c. So all of this. So wherever we have src, okay. So wherever we have src, where do we have src? Okay, I think I haven't used that. Fine, okay. Uh, object. Okay, fine. Anyway, if I'm using this SRC, right? So where I'm using SRC, all of this would be pasted in. So it will resolve, SRC will be resolved into all of these. Okay, that's what this slash means. This slash would mean that it's a continuation. So it will come here, then next slash will come here. So it's a continuation. Okay. So that's what the slash means here. Rest, everything is the same. Okay. Rest, yeah, everything is same. Okay, then that's it, guys. So that's it for make, and next we'll go with Lexer. After Lexer, we'll go syntax plus semantic because in my case, syntax and semantic is combined, right? And finally, the code generation. So that's it. Bye.